Once again, Christian greetings to all our valued listeners and viewers throughout the whole world. This is our special episode number 70 as the last final warning message just prior to the close of provision. I would like to read 2SR, page 107. It says here, God, who is so particular for the good of His church in revealing His truth to His people, has presented to us wonderful pictures of historical events, which is the evidence of love everlasting for Israel, His chosen, the first fruits of His harvest. Thus the God of Jacob, thousands of years in advance, had laid His plans to present to His people a work of prophetic art with divine touch. This reading is addressed to the first fruits, the 144,000 living saints. You see, brothers and sisters, God is very particular for our own good. And He revealed the truth unto us, brothers and sisters, as a token of the evidence of His love everlasting, or of His everlasting love. I love so much that statement in 1SR Pocket Edition, saying, Jehovah God the super artist. So, Jehovah God the super artist. And it says, prophetic art with divine touch. And page 53 in 2SR, it says, only omnipotence can invent such perfect prophetic art foretelling historical events. It says, only omnipotence can invent such prophetic art foretelling historical events. So here on 2SR page 34, it says, a record of a divine survey of this world history from creation to redemption. So, from creation to redemption, it says, would be of great importance at this present time. This present time, brothers and sisters, we need now to have that divine survey from creation to redemption. Remember, brethren, the entire revelation of this book, 2SR, this volume, according to 2SR page 9 and 10, it says, the message in this volume, that is 2SR. So the entire message of this volume, this book contained 300 pages. 2SR, brothers and sisters, contained 300 pages. Now, I would like to read to you again. The message in this volume was prophetically timed by the parable of the householder, it says, who sent laborers into his vineyard, Matthew 20, verse 1 to 16, proving to be the 11th hour call, the last, and at the right time. The fact that this wonderful revelation of the scriptures cannot be contradicted proves the message correct and its importance. It says, the fact that this wonderful revelation of the scriptures cannot be contradicted proves the message correct and its inspiration true. This prophetic call is based on the prophecies of Daniel and its explanation made clear by the book of Revelation. So this entire book, the complete understanding, is prophetically timed, and it is during the 11th hour, during the judgment that pertains to the living. And you can really appreciate the love of God. It is even more displayed and revealed in the last generation. Here in 2SR page 111, it says, we believe that there must be more complete symbolical information for this present generation than for any previous one. This statement is definitely applied in the last generation, because if you say than for any previous one, indicating that it must be pointed out to the last generation, and we are now living in that period of time, brothers and sisters, and we have complete information given by God, and we need to be grateful and very thankful to our Lord God Almighty. Here in 2SR 118, it says, it is wonderful to note how God has portrayed our world's history with such perfect symbols, using numbers of completeness in its instance. Thus, His divine plan, rule, and guide for His people is revealed from generation to generation. And in 2SR page 108, it says here, at 2SR page 108, it is wonderful to note how accurate the symbols are, even to their proper time and order. You see, brothers and sisters. So, this statement, brothers and sisters, is even more applied in this year. I would like to read this reading in 1SR 233 and 234. It says here, woe to him who may think all these wonderful designs in the beauty of perfection are just a chance or an accident. Such a one is denying the master mechanic of all creation. He is paying homage to evolution, meaning chance. So woe to him who will say that this wonderful revelation, more particularly to the beast revelation, which is the most perfect and accurate, brothers and sisters, is only an accident or just a chance. Here in 2SR 253, and we will show to you how perfect the symbols. 2SR 253, it says, it is certain that nothing could fit so perfectly by accident. But think of such marvelous foresight in devising a wonder of this kind, which could reveal, by a living picture, the future for thousands of years. Are not such evidences as this a token of love divine toward fallen beings? Gratitude swells from our hearts. Words fail us. We can only exclaim with the psalmist, Thy word is a lamp unto my feet, and a light unto my path. I have sworn, and I will perform it, that I will keep thy righteous judgments. Psalms 119, 105, and 106. So, you see, brothers and sisters, how the plan of redemption had been perfectly revealed. First of all, brethren, we need to ever remember that the prophecies, there is a divine code, and no man can break that code. It says here in 2TG 44, page 30 and 31, we as Christians have obviously failed to know that the secret things of God matter not how simple, were to be unsealed at any time by anyone. Inspiration would never in the first place have counseled them in symbols and parables. Christendom is still blind to the fact that to attempt to break into the mysteries of God would be to attempt to defeat His purposes. Yes, to try to break into the divine code is to try the impossible. For example, even when the time did come for the book sealed with 7 seals to be unsealed, Revelation chapter 4 and 5, no one in heaven or on earth was able to do so, but only the Lion of the tribe of Judah could break the seals and look into the things which afterwards were shown to John the Revelator. And though John wrote them, he himself could not before time explain them. Then how can we do such before time and without the inspiration of the same Spirit? So the bottom line is that it says in tract number 12 on page 63, I would like to read tract number 12, page 63. So open without a key. A locked door is, of course, to break the door. Tract number 12, page 63. To open without a key, a locked door is, of course, to break the door. But being unbreakable, the locked door of prophecy is impossible to open without the key. So if we could be able to open this divine code, brothers and sisters, this locked door of prophecy, the only conclusion, brothers and sisters, must be that the Spirit of God is at work. It says here in 2TG 24, on page 16, it says, 2TG 24, page 16, are not these tests strong enough to convince any of you that the secret things of God, such as the cancelled prophecies, are not disclosed by finite men, no, not by the devil either? That when God wants a thing to be a secret, it remains cancelled until He Himself reveals it. Then when it is revealed, all are to know that God Himself is at work. All are to know that God Himself is at work. The devil cannot disclose any divine code, brothers and sisters. And since it is prophetically time at the 11th hour, so the only attainable conclusion is that if all these prophecies will be understood at this present year, then there is no other safe conclusion to conclude that the 11th hour time has struck, or we are already in the 11th hour. Now, it says here in 1 TG 37, page 11, 1 TG 37, page 11, those who are fortunate enough to have this revelation brought to them are the people. There is no other safe conclusion if God causes the prophecies to be written, sealed, and then unsealed at His will and at the time appointed. 1 TG number 37, page 11. B.T. Hall says here in 2SR page 255, it says, 2SR 255, from this it is evident, I would like to read, 2SR 255 says, so again we find that one thing proves another. So again, we find that one thing proves another. Such close calculation of the schedule of events that are soon to transpire make it evident that the end of all things is at hand. Otherwise, the information would not as yet have been submitted. So it says that such close calculations of the schedule of events pointing to the future events. So the promise given in Revelation 1 verse 1 and Revelation 4 verse 1, as stated in tract number 5, page 32, that there must be particular object in view. That is the last generation, the period of the judgment of the living, as the promise declared in 2 TG 12:30, that the revelation is to be more fully understood during the judgment of the living. So, the Shepherd says that such close calculations of the schedule of events that are soon to transpire, it is evident that the end of all things is at hand, as stated in 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 7, that the end of all things is at hand. And it says, otherwise, the information will not be given by God. And we need to prepare for the coming events, my dear brothers and sisters. It says here in 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 7, but the end of all things is at hand. Be ye therefore sober, and watch unto prayer. 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 7. Now, let us now focus our attention to the scarlet-colored beast. The last beast recorded in the Bible. So, let's read, brothers and sisters, the statement here in Timely Greetings. Here in 2 TG number 18, on page 21, it says, 2TG number 18, page 21. To summarize, having lived before the millennium and also after the millennium, and being dead during the millennium, the beast is seen in three phases, in three periods: the premillennial, in which he was; the millennial, in which he is not; and postmillennial, in which he is. And it says, he shall ascend out of the bottomless pit, out of the pit in which Satan himself is to be bound for 1,000 years, and then go into perdition. Revelation 17 verse 8. That is, he will shortly be put to his second death, from which there is no resurrection. He is the eighth and is of the seven. That is, there are 4 beasts in Daniel 7, 2 in Revelation 13, and 1 in chapter 17. 7 beasts in all. But the seventh lives twice, and thus after his resurrection, he is the eighth, but is of the seven. Then he goes into perdition, suffers the second death. So, brothers and sisters, the shepherd's rod is plainly telling you and I that the scarlet-colored beast lives twice. First, prior to the millennium, and second is after the millennium. Now let's go to 2SR, page 100. 2SR, page 152. So it says here, 2SR, page 152. Hence the beast and false prophet are cast into a lake of fire before the millennium. And that lake of fire becomes a type of the destruction of the wicked on the other side of the millennium, the second death, for the final destruction of the entire multitude, is described in the following words: and death and hell were cast into a lake of fire. This is the second death. And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. Revelation 20 verse 14 and 15. Thus the world would be given an example before the millennium of the destruction after the 1,000 years had ended. The example of the beast and the false prophet is to show that all the wicked will be thrown alive into a lake of fire, and that is the second death. Speaking of the everlasting ruin of the devil, the word says, and the devil that deceived them was cast into a lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are. Revelation 20 verse 10. That is, the beast and the false prophet do not come up in the second resurrection, exemplifying that there is no resurrection from the second death. Again, we see there is a type for every event, and let none despise types, for where there is no type, there is no truth. Now, brothers and sisters, let us ponder deeply. So, the lake of fire prior to the millennium is the type. The lake of fire after the millennium is the antitype, according to this reading in 2SR, page 152. Remember, according to 1SR, I would like to read again. Page 49, 1SR, page 49, it says here, thus we have a prophecy and a type for every event that has or will take place in this wicked world of ours. You see, brothers and sisters, the voice of inspiration says that there must be prophecy and type. So the word every, brothers and sisters, meaning pointing to all the events. So I would like to read here in 2TG 14, page 19. 2TG number 14, page 19. It says here, He is the eighth and is of the seven. It is pertaining to the scarlet-colored beast. That is Daniel's 4 beasts of chapter 7 and John 2 of chapter 13. Total 6. The scarlet-colored of chapter 17 is therefore the 7th, at the commencement of the millennium, and is the 8th after the millennium, is of the 7th because, as I said before, he is to die his first death at the commencement of the millennium, and in the resurrection after the millennium, he lives again for a short period before he meets his second death. And that makes him the 8th in his second phase and 7th in his first phase. So here, brothers and sisters, let us now study closely the scarlet-colored beast. It says that the scarlet-colored beast will die at the commencement of the millennium. So I would like to repeat again. It says, the scarlet-colored beast will die at the commencement of the millennium. That is the statement. He is to die his first death at the commencement of the millennium. 2TG 14, page 19. Very plain, right? The scarlet-colored beast, it says, he is to die at the commencement of the millennium. So, who are they? The scarlet-colored beast, by which that is his first death. And at the commencement of the millennium, of course, that is those who will be destroyed by the brightness of Christ's coming. So it points out to the first death. The first death of the scarlet-colored beast, by which they will die at the commencement of the millennium, according to the voice of inspiration. Now, look at, brothers and sisters, how perfect the type and the antitype. Remember, brothers and sisters, in this study, the dividing line is 1,000 years. So, we could be able to see the occurrence in the type by viewing the antitype. Or it depends what is the given clue. If the given clue is the type, then we can view the antitype through the type because the given clue is the type. But if the given clue is the antitype, then we can view the type through the given clue, which is the antitype. Now, let us go back to the diagram of B.T. Hotep concerning the flood. Concerning the flood. So let us see the diagram given by So you see, brothers and sisters, I would like to go back again. 110 times 10 equals 1,100. So we'll no longer include 1,000 because that is millennium. That is the dividing line. So, what we need to find out is the period of time of the scarlet-colored beast prior to the millennium. After 100 years, when all the wicked human being will be resurrected, they will be given 100 years. And at the end of the 100 years, they will be destroyed by the lake of fire. So the lake of fire occurred after the 100 years. Now, let us go back again, the statement in 2SR, page 152. It says here, 2SR, page 152. It says, that lake of fire, so I would like to read again, 2SR 152. Hence the beast and false prophet are cast into a lake of fire before the millennium. So when they will be cast alive into the lake of fire before the millennium, and that lake of fire becomes a type of the destruction of the wicked on the other side of the millennium. So, it's easy now to understand, brothers and sisters, that since it was revealed in the antitype that the lake of fire is after the 100 years, which is 164 literal days. Therefore, the lake of fire before the millennium, being the type of the lake of fire after the millennium, that lake of fire must also be after the 100 years. So, again, we can rest assured that the symbolization of the beast is perfect. It is infallible. Therefore, the entire period of the scarlet-colored beast is 100 years. He lives twice, according to 2TG number 18, page 21. First, before the millennium, and second, after the millennium. But the absolute fact is that, since it is type and antitype, we need to follow the divine rule. Answerer number 3, page 23, it should be perfectly, exactly fits. Answerer number 3, page 1SR Packet Edition, page 73, it should be perfectly matched, both in time and objective. And Great Controversy 399. These types were fulfilled not only to the event, but as well as to the time. So both the type and antitype, the time should be exactly fits. So if the antitype of the scarlet-colored beast is 100 years, therefore the type must also be 100 years. Now, here, brothers and sisters, we already read several times, and I will show to you how perfect, brothers and sisters, all the prophecies in the Bible are in perfect harmony. It says here in 2SR 114, the period represented by the scarlet-colored beast commenced in 1929, at which time the deadly one was healed. So what specific date in 1929 when the deadly one was healed? So let us read 1SR, page 209. It says, the deadly one is healed, and I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly one was healed. and all the world wondered after the beast, Revelation 13 verse 3. It is generally understood among Seventh-day Adventists that since the Italian government granted civil power to the Pope on the 11th of February 1929 to be the event of the prophetic fulfillment, we shall grant that the interpretation is correct and the deadly one has been healed. February 11, 1929. And that is why only through the restoration of the Bible creation calendar by which these prophecies will be completely understood. Because without the Bible creation calendar, or the prophecy will not be completely understood. So one of the main objective why God restored the Bible creation calendar so that all the prophecies will be completely understood prior to the close of probation. Because if the Bible prophecies will be understood after probation closes, then for what benefits such understanding? It will be out of value, my dear brothers and sisters. So February 11, 1929, in Bible calendar, let us look at in timeanddeath.com. That is April 23, 1929 in Bible calendar. So, I would like to repeat again. February 11, 1929, that is Gregorian. In Bible calendar, that was April 23, 1929. And that Bible calendar, April 23, answers the end part of the Scarlet Color Beast would be on April 23, 2029. And we will show to you that it is impossible that such event fits so perfectly, and you will see just an accident. Remember, the shepherd says, one thing proves another, right? On 2SR 255. So again, we find that one thing proves another. 2SR 255. Also the statement that one truth dovetailing another. One truth dovetailing another. Now, I would like to read to you. Here on track number 5, page 38. Going on now to understand the symbolism as it does basically defines itself, the student will see as he proceeds that its subject not only becomes clearer and clearer, one truth dovetailing with another, and all reinforcing the whole, but also that it holds a steering present truth lesson. You see, as steering present truth lesson. Now, let us now focus our attention, brothers and sisters, to this wonderful prophecy. Now, I would like to read 2SR. Here in 2SR, page 255. 2SR 255. So, let us read, brothers and sisters. We may not presume that God had brought about these coincidences without an object in view. You see? Let us read again, 2SR 255. We may not presume that God had brought about these coincidences without an object in view. As the ceasing of the rain is a time type of the end of this world, So the ascension of Christ with those who were resurrected with Him is a type of the ascension of the saints at the coming of the Lord. It also reveals that His coming would be on Wednesday, and the train of glory shall depart for the heaven of heavens on Thursday. You see, when would be the all the saints resurrected and living saints will depart from this earth? They will depart it on Thursday. Now, remember, in 2SR, it says, page 240, I would like to quote that statement. What is the flood to us? It says, what is the flood to us? So, the subject of the flood is very important, brothers and sisters, right? And you think, brethren, this subject had been submitted with no object in view? Or for what purpose it had been revealed, or it had been given by God to be taught? Remember, all the prophecies recorded in this volume 2SR is prophetic or prophetically timed. The divine schedule must be on the 11th hour, according to 2SR pages 9 and page 10. Right? Now, here we will show to you our little diagram. And brothers and sisters, we don't believe that this is just an accident, because it is grounded and footed on the word it is written. Now, we will show to you the simple diagram. On February 11, 1929, that is the time when the scarlet-colored beast, the period of the scarlet-colored beast begins. And the scarlet-colored beast, brothers and sisters, will live only 100 years. But when would be the scarlet-colored beast will die? At the commencement of the millennium. Brothers and sisters, at the commencement of the millennium. Now, when does the millennium commence? I would like to read first here in 2SR. 2SR page 161. It says, from that point of the chart, close of provision, 2SR 161. From that point of the chart, close of provision, to the second coming of Christ and the beginning of the millennium, there will be 15 months, a season, and a time. Daniel 7, verse 11 and 12. So when does the millennium begins? At the second visible coming of Jesus Christ, brothers and sisters. And of course, at the second visible coming of Jesus Christ, all the wicked will be destroyed by the brightness of His coming, as stated in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 8 and verse 9. Now, let's go back again. Remember, brothers and sisters, I would like to read this reading in 2SR. We already read, brethren, that the New Jerusalem is the antitypical ark. Now, I would like to read again 2SR 245 and 246. As God declared the danger to the old world by the preaching of Noah in one generation, just so has He forewarned the world of its end in this generation. As provision was made before the flood for those who wish to escape the ruin, Just so, He has provided means and facilities for all who wish to obey the doom that confronts our world. Not to enter into an ark built by the hands of men. No, no. That was only a figure. But into many mansions prepared by the Lord Himself. Not into an ark floating over mud waters, but into mansions resting on foundations of precious stones. The dreaded flood is a type of the dark millennium. As God-faithful people were saved then, so shall they be saved now. But the sinner now shall perish as the sinner then. Now, brothers and sisters, we know that historically, when Noah entered into the ark, brothers and sisters, they did not go out in the ark not until the 56 days, which is the the drying of the earth. So, it is revealed through the antitype. Now, let us go back again to the diagram of B.T. Houghton. The flood, B.T. Houghton. Now, brothers and sisters, God's people will be in the New Jerusalem, when the New Jerusalem will came to this earth, because the dividing line is the 1,000 years. We will not include 1,000 years because we are studying the scarlet-colored beast before the millennium and the scarlet-colored beast after the millennium. During 1,000 years, according to the Shepherd's Rod, to TG number 18, page 21, the scarlet-colored beast is dead. And during that time, only the devil and the fallen angels were in existence on this earth during 1,000 years. So since our subject is concerning the scarlet-colored beast, before the millennium and after the millennium. So, after the millennium, the scarlet-colored beast, that is the second time that the scarlet-colored beast lives. But they were in the New Jerusalem. They did not get out from the New Jerusalem not until all the wicked had been completely destroyed, and there are 56 days in cooling the earth. So, at the end of the 164 days, there will be no more wicked that had been in existence, brothers and sisters. But they did not go out, not until the 56 days ended. So that is the picture of the type, brothers and sisters. The given clue is the antitype. So I would like to read to you that in the type, the antitypical ark is the kingdom. Now let me read to you track number 8, page 66. Track number 8, page 66. It says, as in Noah's ark, the type, so the antitypical ark, the kingdom. It says, nothing shall hurt or destroy the lion, the wolf, the lamb, the leopard, the calf, and the fatling shall live perpetually together, and like the ox, all shall feed on straw. Thus now, as in Noah's time, God shall preserve a remnant of men and beasts out of his whole creation, instead of exterminating every living thing and then creating them all over again. Here's another statement in 2TG 31, page 9. 2TG number 31 on page 9. So it says, here, brothers and sisters, as Noah's ark preserved every living thing that was to inhabit the earth after the flood, in like manner, the restored kingdom of Judah and Israel is to gather and preserve from the plagues every living thing that is to inhabit the new earth. The kingdom restored is to be the ark in our day. And here people shall live and reign 1,000 years with Christ, and finally return when the earth is made new. To TG 31 on page 9. Now here's another statement in 1TG number 9 on page. It says here, page 12. 1TG number 9, page 12. For another phase of this work, we also have the flood as a type. As Noah's preaching brought the world to an end in his day, so our preaching will bring the world to an end in our day. As the faithful of that day found refuge in Noah's ark, so the faithful of today shall find refuge in the kingdom. The church purified, here forecasted. 1TG number 9, page 12. So, the premillennial kingdom is also considered as the antitypical ark. Now, we will show to you again, brothers and sisters, our diagram. And it's up to you if you will think that it is just an accident. Because, to repeat again, our only duty is to present the truth, to share the message throughout the whole world, and leave all the consequences into the hands of God. Now, the Scarlet Colored Beast commenced on February 11, 1929. And when the Bible creation calendar was restored, we discovered that February 11, 1929 in Bible calendar, that was April 23, 1929. So that is April 23, 1929. Now, we found out that the Bible calendar, which is April 23, 1929, is the clue as the end of the 100 years of the Scarlet Colored Beast. It will end on April 23, 2029, Gregorian calendar. But April 23, 1929 is Bible calendar. But it answers the end part of the Scarlet Colored Beast. It will end on April 23, 2029. By which in Bible calendar, that was December 19, 2030. Now, so the beast and the false prophet and the remnant will be cast alive into the lake of fire 164 days. So from April 23, 2029, we will add 164 days. You will fall on October 4, 2029, Gregorian calendar. And then, in Bible calendar, that was June 3, 2031. Now, since the kingdom, the premillennial kingdom is the antitypical ark, we will not go out in the antitypical ark not until the 56 days will be ended. So let us add October 4, 2029 plus 56 days, then you will fall on November 29, 2029 Gregorian calendar. In Bible calendar, that was July 29, 2031. That was Thursday. That was Thursday. And the Shepherd's Rod says that the Scarlet Colored Beast will die at the commencement of the millennium. and the commencement of the millennium would be on Thursday, would you think that diagram is an accident? Brothers and sisters, perfectly portraying the type and the antitype. 100 years plus 164 plus 56, then you will fall on Thursday. So, that would be the predicted event when all the saints, resurrected and living saints, they will depart from this earth and will be going to the third heaven. Now, let's read again. And it says it was in Thursday. So, I would like to read 2SR page 255. It says 2SR 255. So, I would like to read a statement. Because Jesus Christ ascended to heaven Thursday on the year of Jubilee. Right? He ascended to heaven Thursday. Therefore, the ascension of the saints, living and resurrected, according to the shepherd's rod, should also be on Thursday. It says, and the train of glory shall depart for the heaven of heavens on Thursday. 2SR 255, it says, and the train of glory shall depart for the heaven of heavens on Thursday. You see, brothers and sisters, 2SR page 255. Now, let's go back again to our little diagram. You see, brothers and sisters, through the beast study, it points out that millennium would be in 2031. But it is even more specific because we could be able now to locate the commencement of the millennium. That would be on July 29, 2031. In the study of the 6,000 years prophecy through the subject Jubilee, the only answer that had been given is the year. The year of Jubilee must be on the year 2031. But here in the subject of the scarlet-colored beast, that is why the shepherd's rod says that the beast study is the most perfect, most accurate. So, that is the reality. So here we found out, brothers and sisters, and no one could say that it is just an accident. We have the type and antitype. In the antitype, the scarlet-colored beast, the resurrection, would be on the resurrection of all the wicked from Cain, would be on Bible calendar, that would be July 31. But on Gregorian calendar, that would be July 25, 15. That is the commencement of the 100 years when all the wicked will be resurrected. And then the 100 years would end on February 16, 31:14. Of course, in Bible calendar, that is still July 30, 31. And then, the lake of fire would end on July 30, 31:14. January 14, 31 Bible calendar. Then 56 days cooling the earth. It must be from September 24, 31:14 or March 10, what's that? March 10, 31. And still Thursday. Brothers and sisters, so, would you think it is just a mere happenstance? Brothers and sisters, no. When does Noah and his family and all the animals get out from the ark? Thursday. When does Jesus Christ ascended to heaven? Thursday. And the shepherd's rod says, the same, all the saints, resurrected and living saints, they will depart from this earth on Thursday. What is that? The commencement of the millennium. 2SR 255. When does the scarlet-colored beast will die? At the commencement of the millennium. 2TG number 18, page 21. And also 2TG 14, page 19. So, the scarlet-colored beast, the type and antitype exactly fits. There must be 100 years, 164 days, and 56 days. So, it points out to the period of time, brothers and sisters. Therefore, the premillennial kingdom, being the antitypical ark, all the saints, resurrected and living saints, they will depart from the premillennial kingdom, which is the antitypical ark, and they will go to the third heaven, which is the New Jerusalem, but still antitypical ark. That's why in the antitype, it is more broader and larger in scope than in the type themselves. But both the subject scarlet-colored and the subject of the Jubilee point out to the year 2031. And I do fully believe that this revelation comes from God because it is not accident. You will say accident while it is perfectly fits the statement given by the shepherd's rod. Now, when does the saints, the living saints and the resurrected saints will depart from this earth? Answer, 2SR 255, Thursday. Second, when does the scarlet-colored beast will die? 2TG 1821. 2TG number 18, page 21. They will die at the commencement of the millennium. His first death at the commencement of the millennium. I will to read. It says here, 2TG number 18. That the 2TG 1419, I think, in 2TG 14, page 19. It says, he is to die his first death, that is the scarlet-colored. He is to die his first death at the commencement of the millennium. So when would be the scarlet-colored beast will die? At the commencement of the millennium. When does the millennium commence? Second visible coming of Jesus Christ. 2SR 161. When does Jesus Christ will come? Wednesday. When does the saints will depart from heaven, from this earth, and go to heaven of heavens, the third heaven? Thursday. So, brothers and sisters, would you think it is just a mere happenstance that both subject pointing to the same event, the commencement of the millennium, which is also the end part of the scarlet-colored beast, 100 years, 164 days, then we have 56 days, then the commencement of the millennium, which fall on Thursday, as stated in the shepherd's rod. So these proofs, brethren, is infallible proofs. So we will prove to you in another angle on our next episode. But the bottom line of this study, brethren, we are nearing home, and it reveals the shortness of time. So thank you very much for listening and viewing this program. May the good Lord bless you and have a beautiful, wonderful evening.